pregame.com.
And Ken Thomson, Dave Cokin, second of 4 videos, second of 2 college videos. Dave Cokin liking Clemson plus all those points against Florida State. And again, Jameis Winston suspended for the first half, but Dave liked it a lot before then. Got a great line at 20 and looking for Clemson to keep it close. Love to see the upset. That's just me personally. Like to see some redemption from last year because I know Clemson went into that game with Boyd and Watkins all cocky, thinking they had it. They're on their home field, Death Valley, and boy, did they get surprised and ambushed.
Yeah, I guess they did. Utah State is a team that came into this season with some really high hopes. We're going to talk about them now as they journey down to Arkansas State. But a crushing blow last week, potentially. We'll have to see how long Chucky Keaton's going to be out. But after Keaton missed most of last season with an injury, Utah State gathered themselves, had a fine season, but they were really hoping for bigger and better things this year. This is a tough injury to overcome.
Dave, that's the thing. When I see a running quarterback, a guy that really is a dual threat like a Chucky Keaton, and he blows out the knee, I'm real leery about taking him again when he comes back off that injury because you don't know if he's going to be that same explosive guy.
No, we've seen that, if you want to look at an NFL version of it, RG3. He's not the same player as he was as a rookie, and I don't know if he ever will be again. Tough break for Chucky Keaton, who I don't think is really an NFL prospect because of his size, but a dynamic college performer. Utah State, their experience, their backup has experience. Garrettson played last year for the second half of the season. He took over, I believe, in the Boise State or the BYU game, and then the Boise State game. After that, he struggled, but after that, settled in and played some reasonably good football over the year. But Utah State was never as explosive as they were prior to the Keaton injury. And you remember the trouble they had with UNLV. A game they probably should have lost. So Utah State was kind of fortunate to get through some of those landmines in the second half last season. And, this is not an easy assignment for them this week as they go on the road to face Arkansas State, which is a program that's used to playing some big names. They're not going to be intimidated by a Mountain West team coming in.
There you go. In Arkansas State, the coaches leave, but the system's still in place pretty much, and they hang in there. And this is the second time now in 3 games that Utah State is going to the Southeast. They had trouble with Tennessee in the opener, come back to Logan. They're comfortable there, but now back on the road and not an easy place to go.
Now, Utah State, Keaton, not the only injury. Swindoll, the wide receiver, probably their best. I think their best overall wideout. He's out for the year. Arkansas State could be missing a key element here. Gordon is a really good running back, and he has not been healthy basically the entire season. And from what I gather, he will not be on the field this Saturday.
All right, well, this is my free play. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make this one official. Arkansas State, Utah State. And Dave makes a lot of sense there. Again, Michael Gordon is a key part of that Arkansas State team, but they've got enough. And I like their version of Chucky Keaton in their quarterback, Freddie Knighton. Knighton is one of those guys that is a dual threat, and he'll mix it up. He can pass the ball a little bit, not great high percentage, but he'll keep the low passes, something short and sweet, and then he'll take off. He's also caught 2 touchdown passes himself, so he's one of those guys you got to keep an eye on him when he comes out of the backfield himself. Meanwhile, McKissick is back healthy. He was banged up in the first game. He's their most reliable receiver. And Johnston White is the guy that's stepping in the backfield now. He's been pretty solid as well. For Utah State, again, they're going to rely on Garrettson. Like Dave said, he got a lot of action last year when Keaton went down, but losing Brandon Swindoll, that's huge. Also lost Johnson, another receiver that got a lot of action. So you're depleted a little bit. Not the same Utah State defense to me that I've seen. Tennessee exploited them. They were able to take advantage, and I just don't think the long trip from Logan down to play the Red Wolves on their home field is going to be an easy task. In this series, the home team has covered all 5 times in the history of this series. So again, I know I'm not a big trends guy, but it is something to keep an eye on. Again, long travel for both teams either way you go. So that's going to be my play. I'm going to go with the youngster Freddie Knighton, going to take advantage of this Arkansas State team that's played Tennessee, played Miami, and Montana State, a team they whipped up on in their opener, 37-10. This is a team sits number 11 in the FCS rankings, so not a bad team, the Bobcats from Montana State. So there it is. Going to go ahead, going to take Arkansas State. The line I see is a -2.5, pretty much everywhere in the country. And Dave, that's where I'm going to go.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is they have the common opponent already in Tennessee. And I think it's fair to say Arkansas State probably gave Tennessee a better game than Utah State did. Utah State seemed to have trouble with Tennessee's speed in that game. Arkansas State, not the slowest team in the world. I saw them play the Tennessee game, and I'll tell you what, the Volunteers were clearly the better squad. But it was more competitive than you think.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And both teams had to replace a lot of linemen. Yeah. Tennessee, the only team in the country, had to replace all 9 linemen, all 5 on the offensive line. But Utah State, even though they got Keaton back, they had to replace 4 starters on the offensive line.
And by the way, the good news for Arkansas State, this coach is actually going to stick around for a few years. It's his first head coaching job, so he won't be flying to greener pastures that quickly.
There you go. All right, when we come back, pregame.tv, Dave Cokin's got an NFL play for you, and then I'll follow it up with an NFL play myself. It is Ken Thomson. It is Dave Cokin, pregame.tv.